Good morning, students. Good morning, students. Today we are going to see a new topic called as a basic system components. I think we started this topic in the last class, which is nothing but the clock generator, Okay. Now. So here under the basic system components concept, what are the topics which we are going to cover is a question. Okay. Now. So here we are going to study about the clock generator. We are going to study about the clock generator. And we are going to study about the buffers, latches, address decoders, Okay, now, so these are the topics which we are going to see under the basic system components. Okay, now. So we just noted down these four topics. So now we are going to continue with the clock generator. So clock generator is nothing but it is used for generating the clock signals required by the 8086 microprocessor. The clock signals required by the 8086 microprocessor, which are those clock signals are provided by the clock generator. So the IC number for the clock generator is a 8284. The IC number for the clock generator is a 8284. The internal architecture of the the internal block diagram of 8284 looks like this. Okay, now so this is the internal block diagram of the 8284. This is a internal block diagram of 8284. So here the right side terms, whatever the right side signals we are having over here, these are indicating the output signals, and the left side signals are the input signals. Sorry, the right side signals are the output signals, left side signals are the input signals. So it is a internal block diagram of 8284. Okay, now. So the internal block diagram of 8284 is divided into three blocks. One is a reset block, next one is a clock block, next one is a ready block. Reset block is the one which is used for providing the reset signal required by the 8086 microprocessor. So in 8086 microprocessor we are having the reset pin, ready pin, and the clock signal. So these three signals are provided by the 8284. So let us focus on the reset block. So the reset block, wait a minute, missing this. So here in the reset block we are having the active low input signal. Whenever you would like to generate the reset signal using the the 8284, you are supposed to generate, means this reset output signal is then it is connected to the microprocessor reset signal. We are going to see the what is that interfacing diagram also. Don't worry about it. But in order to generate this particular reset signal, you are supposed to apply the active low signal at the input of the 8284 RES signal. Okay, now so at the input of this particular pin of the 8284, you are supposed to provide the active low signal, and this active low signal is passing through the buffer. So we are going to see what exactly the buffers in the next topic. Don't worry about it. But as of now, you just remember that buffer is nothing but it is an amplifier. So this signal, whatever the signal which you are driving as an input, that signal get amplified, and that signal is going to be latched into the D flip-flop, which is used as a latch. Okay, so latched into the D flip-flop, and the D flip-flop control is going to is having the clock signal. So the clock signal is coming from the clock block. We will concentrate on the clock block later. Okay, so from the output of the D flip-flop we are taking the reset signal. Okay, now from the output of D flip-flop we are taking the reset signal. Okay, now so whatever the reset signal which we are having over here, it is the active low signal, but the microprocessor is expecting the active high signal. So when you are trying to interface the 8284 to the microprocessor to generate the reset signal, there you are supposed to use the inversion operation. We will come to that one when I'll show that one while interfacing this one to the microprocessor. Okay, so let us go for the clock block of the 8284. In the clock block, clock block main intention is to generate the clock signals required by the 8086 microprocessor. Now, so here this particular clock block is not only generating the clock signal, but it is also generating the clock signals which is required by the peripherals. Means in the microprocessor based system, the microprocessor is means we are not only having the microprocessor, we are having some other components which are external interface to the microprocessor. So those components are called as a peripherals. Here are somewhere some of the peripherals are requiring the means they require some of the peripherals required the clock signal, and those clock signals they may take from means you may make use of this particular peripheral clock signal as a clock input to that particular peripheral. Means whatever the external devices which you are interfacing to the microprocessor, if at all those external device requires the peripheral clock signal, at that time you can make use of the peripheral clock pin of the 8284 to provide the clock signals to those peripherals. Next one is the oscillatory output line. Means whatever the oscillator you are connecting, the same signal is going to be get inverted. It is an inverting buffer. The same concept what you have seen the buffer over here. Here we are having the buffer along with the inverter. SIMA. From here onwards, just remember that wherever you are seeing the bubble, it is going to be the inversion operation. Okay. So we are having the inverting buffer over here. Okay. So we are having the oscillator signal, and just remember that this clock block is generating the clock signals like a PCLK peripheral clock and the clock actual clock now, which is required by the 8086. These clock signals are generated by the clock block of the 8284 either by concentrating, means there are two clock sources which are going to be utilized by the clock block of the 8284. There are two clock sources. Okay, now one is you may use the crystal oscillator as a clock generator, which is required by the clock block of the 8284, or you may use the external function generator. Function generator, EFI is nothing but the external frequency input. So with the help of the function generator, you can provide the clock signals required by the clock block of 8284. Okay, now means two options are there. You may use the crystal oscillator to generate the required clock signal, or you may use the function generator to provide the clock signal. Now the question comes that how the clock block of the 8284 is going to be differentiate whether we are using the crystal oscillator as a clock generator or the function generator as a clock generator is a question. Okay, now so that is going to be differentiated by the clock 8284 with the help of one signal called as a f/c bar. Means with the help of the f/c bar, it is used as a select line. So if you see this one, it is a 2x1 multiplexer. Means two inputs are there and one output is there. In order to choose one out of two, we are having the one selection line. Okay, now so with the help of the f/c bar pin of the 8284, we can differentiate which clock source we are using to generate the clock signal, whether we are using the crystal oscillator or whether we are using the external frequency input, that is nothing but the function generator which is providing the clock signal. Okay, now so here if you see this one, if I am applying the active high signal on this particular pin, means binary 1 over here, then external frequency input is going to be driven as a output of the multiplexer. If at all we are applying the active low signal, f/c bar is nothing but the frequency or the clock, frequency or the crystal. Okay, now frequency or the crystal. So if you are applying the 0, then it is a crystal signal, means this selection line is going to be activates the crystal frequency. If you are applying the binary 1, then this multiplexer is activating the EFI signal. Means we are using the function generator as a clock resource for our clock generation. Okay, now so that is going to be, means we are having the two options to provide the clock signals. One is the crystal or the function generator, that is going to be differentiated with the help of the f/c bar. Okay, now if at all in these clock resources, if you are using the EFI signal, means if you are using the function generator signal as a clock signal instead of the crystal oscillator, then at that time we are going to use the clock synchronization signal to synchronize the two division block circuits. Okay, now so this one is dividing the input frequency with 3, this one is further dividing the input frequency with 2. Okay, now so means these two division circuits are going to be synchronized by the external clock source, which is nothing but the CSYNC, means clock synchronization. Okay, now clock synchronization. So this clock synchronization is going to be used only when we are using the clock from the function generator. If we are using the clock from the crystal oscillator, then we are not going to use this particular signal. But if we are using the EFI, that is a function generator as a clock resource, then we are going to use the clock synchronization signal. So as we are seeing right over here, you may take the what is that frequency signal from here, that is a clock signal from the crystal oscillator output or from the function generator output. but only one output is going to be chosen. This output frequency is divided with 3. This output frequency is going to be divided with 3. Let us suppose the output frequency over here is I'm assuming that is indicated with the help of capital F. I'm assuming that F is the output frequency of the F is the frequency of the output signal coming from the mux. Okay, now. So this particular frequency is divided by the 3, divided by 3. Okay, now. It is going to be divided by 3. So obviously the output of this particular circuit is going to be the F by 3. Means the frequency of the whatever the signal which you are appearing, which you are seeing right over here at the output of the division circuit, that frequency is reduced by 3 factor. Okay, now means it is going to be the capital F by 3. It is going to be the capital F by 3. Okay, so it is this division circuit is common. This division circuit is going to be existed when we are having the what is that crystal oscillator or the function generator as a clock source. Okay, now. So this signal is passing through the inverting buffer. It is passing through the inverting buffer. Again, inverting buffer means the high pass becomes a low pass becomes a high pass. At the same time, it is a buffer is nothing but it is amplifying the input signal. Okay, now. So this F by 3 signal means a clock signal whose frequency is F by 3 now, that factor is going to be appear at the output of the divided by 3 circuit, and the same signal is going to means the same frequency signal is going to be appear over here, and same signal is going to be applied over here, and same signal is going to be applied over here. Okay, now. So that means we are having the we are utilizing this frequency, means the rest of the blocks within the 8284 are utilizing this particular frequency component. Okay, now. So if you are taking the F by 3 signal, and if you are taking the output from the PCLK line, if you see this one, this F by 3 is means this F by 3, whatever the F by 3 we are having, it is an input to this particular point now. So this F by 3 signal is further divided with 2. Means the peripheral clock signal is going to be a clock signal whose frequency is divided with 6. Means if I am having the F by 6 over here, it is going to be the F by 6. I think you are not able to see this one. I'm just putting over here. It is going to be the F by 3. Okay, now F by 3 means if the input signal clock frequency is the input clock signal frequency is the F, then it is going to be divided with 3. Because of that, the frequency is going to be the F by 3, and it is further given as an input to the divided by 2 circuit. So means F by 3 is again divided with 2, means obviously it is going to be the F by 6. Sorry, it is going to be the F by 6, not the F by 3, because F by 3 whole by 2 is nothing but it is going to be the F by 6. Okay, it is going to be the F by 6. Okay, now the clock frequency is going to be what? F by 3. The clock frequency is going to be the F by 3. Okay, it is going to be F by 3. Are we clear? Okay, so means how much frequency you are applying over here, that is divided by 3. Whatever the result you are getting over here, that is the frequency of the clock signal. That is the frequency of the clock signal which we are able to see from here. Okay, now. So this clock signal is given as an input to the microprocessor. It is given as an input to the 8086 microprocessor. So if you want to get the functionality from the 8086 microprocessor, you are supposed to apply the a frequency of 5 megahertz. A frequency of a clock signal whose frequency is a 5 megahertz. So if you want to get the 5 megahertz frequency over here, then you are supposed to apply the 15 megahertz crystal oscillator over here, or you are supposed to use the function generator whose frequency is the 15 megahertz. Because if you are not using the 15 megahertz, then you are not going to get the 5 megahertz which is required by the 8086 microprocessor, because because the signal is passing through the division by 3 circuit. Okay, so this is all about your clock signal, clock block in 8284. Now come to the ready signal. Okay, now ready block. So as I said, the internal block is divided into 3 now. Reset block, clock block, and the ready block. Clock block is again specifying this one. A clock block is providing the 2 clock signals. One is the clock signals required by the 8086 microprocessor. Clock signals required by the peripheral devices which are interfacing to the microprocessor. Okay. So the next case is a ready block. So ready block is providing the or it is generating the ready signal. It is generating the ready signal, and this signal is generation of this signal depends on the 4 along with the 5 signals actually. So we are having the 5 signals, 5 input signals. So if any one of these 5 signals, okay, if any one of these 5 signals is going to be deactivated, means we are having the 2 sets of ready pin and the address enable pin. So it is a ready pin 1, address enable pin 1, ready pin 2, address enable pin 2, and asynchronous clock. Okay, now it is a asynchronous clock. So here what is that? We are having the ready one and the address enable one. If you are disabling any one of these 2 pins or any one of these 2 pins, then you are going to disable the clock signal. You are going to disable the clock signal. No sir, I want to generate the clock signal, means you are supposed to apply the active high signal on the RDYN pin, and the AEN1 is the active low, means you are supposed to apply the proper signal at the input of this particular ready block, so that it is going to be generates the ready signal. It is going to be generates the ready signal. What is the main intention of this ready signal? Whenever we are interested to interface the slow response devices to the microprocessor, whenever we are interested to interface the slow response to the microprocessor, at that time we are supposed to means that slow response device is going to be connected to the microprocessor with the help of the ready pin. So when the microprocessor, when the external peripheral is interfaced to the ready pin, if the peripheral device, whatever the slow response device which we are interfacing, if it is not ready, then we are supposed to ask the microprocessor to wait for some time now. So that is going to be ready signal over here is nothing but generating or driving the wait clock cycles to the microprocessor. Wait clock cycles to the microprocessor, so that the microprocessor is going to be wait for some time until the slow response device is going to be ready. Once the slow response device is going to be ready, then the microprocessor is going to be start its work. Okay, so this is all about your clock generator, which is nothing but the 8284. It is one of the important short question. It is one of the important short question. Okay, now let us see how exactly this 8284 is connected to the 8086 microprocessor. If you take this one, if you see this one, we are expecting the 3 signals now. The 3 signals which are coming from the 8284 reset, ready, clock, they are interfaced to the respective signals available in the 8086 microprocessor. But don't get confused. The reset signal is the active high signal in case of the 8086. Reset signal is the active low signal in case of the 8284. In order to compensate this one, in this diagram it is not shown, but we are supposed to have one inverter. We are supposed to have one inverter. I am simply indicating that inverter with a bubble sign. Okay, now I am simply showing that particular inverter with a bubble sign. Otherwise, wait a minute, bubble sign. So I am just taking one circle. So means we should have the circle. We should have the inverting operation. So if we are having the inverting operation, then everything is good, fine. Okay. So this is all about your 8284. So the next topic is going to be buffers. Let us go for the buffers concept. Let us go for the buffers concept. Wait a minute. Buffers concept now. What exactly the buffer is a question. Okay. Buffers. Okay. So there are 3 different types of buffers are there, ma. Okay, now. So under the buffers concept, under the buffers we are having the 3 different types of buffers. Okay, first let us define what exactly the buffer. Buffer is nothing but it is like a amplifier. Amplifier is nothing but what? Buffer is nothing but which amplifies the signal. Okay, now the question comes out, what exactly the amplifier? Amplifier is nothing but which translates the weakened signal into the strengthened format. Amplifier is nothing but which translates the weakened signal into the strengthened format. Okay, now means weak signal is converted into the high intensity signal. Low intensity signal is converted into the high intensity signal. Now, whatever the amplifiers which we are having, I'm not talking about the buffers. Actually, buffers are nothing but the amplifiers, but I'm not concentrating on the buffers now. Just go to the amplifier. Whatever the amplifiers we are having, there are different types of amplifiers. One is the current amplifier, next one is the voltage amplifier, next one is the power amplifier. Current amplifiers are nothing but which amplifies the information which is there in the current format into the means low current signal is converted into the high intensity current signal. Low intensity power signal is converted into the high intensity power signal. Low voltage signal is converted into the high intensity voltage signal by the amplifiers. Means amplifiers are there are 3 different types of amplifiers. One is the current amplifiers, voltage amplifier, and power amplifier. But in case of the buffer, when you are coming to the buffers now, so buffers are amplifying the information and they are showing the information in the current or power format, not in the voltage format. Okay now. So amplified signal is there in the current or power format. The current or power format. Okay now. So the buffers are nothing but, you just note it down, I'm not going to type that one. Buffers are nothing but which amplifies the signal and shows the information in the amplified current or in the power format. Amplified current or in the power format. Okay now. So amplifiers are nothing but they are translating the weakened signal into the strengthened signal. Weak signal into the strengthened signal. Weak signal into the strengthened signal. Okay now. Weak signal into the strengthened signal. Excuse me now.